This is the plaintiff, Natalia Bull. She says she purchased a dining room set from the defendant, and when she got it home, it was all scratched up and damaged. The defendant misrepresented the condition of the furniture. She's here suing for the $1,240 she feels she's owed. This is the defendant, Denise. She says the plaintiff's boyfriend picked up the dining room set in an SUV, not a truck, and she thinks he scratched it up during the careless transport. Bottom line, she sold her a great dining room set in good condition and owes nothing. She's accused of a gross misrepresentation. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $400 for attorney's fees.
All parties, please raise your right hands. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Leon is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Ms. Bull, you were looking for a dining room set, and what venue did you start looking for it on?
Facebook Marketplace, yeah.
People advertise their used stuff, and you guys come up with a price, and then you pick it up. Just like any other Craigslist or any other forum like that. Yeah. All right, so tell me what happened in this one.
So I was just browsing for a dining set for our home, and I really love the brand Restoration Hardware. I think they make really great quality furniture. And I typed into the search engine of Facebook Marketplace, Restoration Hardware dining set, and I came across what looked like an absolutely beautiful set. It was very distinctive looking. And what really caught my eye about the set is the table. The dining table was no longer being produced by Restoration Hardware, and you couldn't really buy it from them directly. And I just really loved the elegance and thought that it would look great in our home. So I saw the advertisement. The initial post was for $2,200, and it described the set as an overall good condition. It said that the table was always covered and in pristine condition, and that the chairs had some wear and may have some staining, and that the staining could be...
Actually, you did something which is good. You screenshot the actual advertisement, which everybody should do anytime they buy something on Craigslist or Marketplace or in any other internet deal here. And in that picture, the table looks really good, doesn't it? You don't see scratches or anything in that picture, do you?
No.
So then what happens?
So I looked at the pictures. There were a few. The chairs looked to be in very good condition. And so I assumed if there was any wear that it could easily be removed, without or some cleaning product.
So you agree on what price?
The seller was unable to sell the set, and she lowered the price to $2,000 on the ad. So when I reached out to her, I asked to confirm whether the price was $2,200 or $2,000, and she told me that she would sell the set for $2,000 firm, and there was no negotiation. And I said, that's fine. Would you be willing to hold the set until my husband and his brother are able to rent a truck, like a moving truck, to come and pick it up? We live in Arlington, Virginia. The set was located in Staten Island.
How long after buying it and, deciding on $2,000, how long did it take you to go pick up the table? A week, a month, a day? How long did it take for your boy? Is it boyfriend or husband?
My husband.
Your husband and his brother to rent the truck and go to Staten Island. How long?
Yes, it was less than 2 weeks. So I contacted the seller on July 7th. They picked it up on July 26th.
Got it. All right. So, and then did she require a deposit?
Yes, she asked for a $500 deposit. And
then the rest was going to be payable on the day of pickup if everything was as planned. So you send your husband and his brother to go to pick up the table, and what happens?
Yeah, so my cardinal mistake was not telling my husband that the set was in good condition. I just assumed that he would kind of know that, because I wouldn't want to buy something that was $2,000 but in shoddy condition. And so he went with his brother. And,
does that need saying? Does that really need saying? Does that need saying? Hey, don't pick it up if it's all damaged? All right, so does your husband call you from there?
Yes, he does. I actually have my husband. If I can bring him in as a witness, he can recount.
Oh, we're going to bring him in as a witness, yes, in just one second. But first I'm asking you, did he call you? Did he call you from there?
I don't believe he did. I think he sent me a text message saying that he got the set and that they were on their way home.
So let me hear from you, Ms. Denise. According to you, they arrived to pick up the table. And do they say anything about the condition of the table, Ms. Denise?
No, nothing. But I'm like shocked that this is even happening right now. No one was forced to buy a table.
Right.
I mean, they came to inspect it. That was my understanding.
And then they look at it and then they load it up. And how did they load it up?
So my mother-in-law told me at the time even that it was really... She was nervous because they were loading it up. We had provided like moving blankets and stuff like that so that they could, handle it and not scratch it. This is a beautiful vintage, oak set, fluted set. We didn't want anything to happen to it. So we provided some blankets, but they were stuffing it into...
It's not vintage. It's Restoration Hardware. It was manufactured a few years ago.
Well, that's what the name of it is.
It's called I know, the name of it is vintage, and I love Restoration Hardware, so don't get me wrong. But in any event, it needs to be protected, obviously. So you guys actually provided blankets?
Yes, I provided moving blankets for it. But it was put into a van. Like my mother-in-law was saying that she was nervous because they were stuffing it into a van. And so I think that, they had, I spoke to him on the phone when he inspected it. He said everything was great and asked us, how he would send the money. I don't really understand any of this.
Can I ask you, Ms. Bull, how long did it take you to get upset? Like, in other words, the second they got home, you said, what is this?
Exactly. They arrived that evening around, I think, 11 o'clock at night. I unveiled the set. The chairs were covered in these red cushions, which stained the fabric. I didn't take pictures of the red stained fabric, but it was quite visible. And the table was far from in pristine condition as was advertised. And the chairs were just filthy. They were covered in what resembled human sweat stains. They were broken. So two of the chairs were broken, dinged up. And, this set was purchased from my husband as a birthday present. So I knew that he would take great care in not damaging it during transport.
Let's hear from your husband.
You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
I do.
Okay, my dear. How long have you been married to your wife?
A little over a year.
How long have you guys been together?
3.5 years.
So you know her pretty well, right?
Yeah.
So you get there and this stuff is damaged and you don't tell her? You know her standards.
That's true, but my wife does restore stuff. So as a side gig, she does get things used, restore it, and resell it. So I know that she does restore stuff. She had already dropped $500 on this thing and was expecting me to come home with this. And we'd kind of had a fight about that. I didn't want her to spend $500 on it until it was seen, but she had already done that. And it's just like, okay, we're good. I was going with the mindset of we're just picking this thing up.
Okay. So when you get there, what was your impression of the furniture and its condition?
Yeah, so we get there. As the plaintiff said, it was her mother-in-law who was there. So they were stored outdoors. They were not in a climate-controlled place or anything like that. They were stored outdoors. The table was covered. We lift the cover of the table, and it looks like a decent-shaped table. Not a pristine table, but, there's scratches. There's, some discoloration, but nothing that couldn't be treated with, some touch-up. If I had known that the standard was pristine, I would have known that was an issue, but it looked like something that...
So why didn't you know? If you're looking at it and you're, according to a statement you provided, you were horrified at the condition. If you're so horrified, why don't you call your wife and FaceTime? Like, how is it that if it's so horrifying, you don't just show your wife, hey, this okay with you, this okay with you? That's the whole point, isn't it, of not paying the rest of the money until you see it?
I suppose so. In my mind, we were out $500, and it was sunk costs, and we'd kind of already had a fight about it, and I was there to pick it up.
Is that really what's in your mind, Sweet Pea, that you're out $500, so you smack another $1,500 and take the thing all the way back to Arlington? Is that why? Or is it that you look at it and you figure this was the deal? Let me ask you, Ms. Denise, you weren't there. Your mother-in-law was there, correct?
Correct, yes.
And do you know whether he contacted her at all by phone, and made any phone calls or anything while he was there, or you don't know?
I don't know that for sure.
All right. So let me have your wife back. You've done enough damage. Let me have your wife back. Okay. Ms. Bull, why, if you have been with this man for 3 years, okay, do you send him to inspect furniture when you know that his standards are not the same as yours? And I say this as a woman who has been with her husband for 30 years, okay? If you needed to inspect it yourself to see if you were going to take it, then you FaceTime with him or you Zoom with him or you do something. But you sent him to pick it up. He is your agent in this contractual transaction. And this is an as-is sale, as is everything that is sold, that is used. Your point to say, hey, wait a second. Nah, we're not going to take it. This isn't the condition. By the way, to say nothing of the fact that the pictures in the advertisement do look pristine, but so I don't know where the damage happened. But let's assume that every bit of damage happened before your husband showed up there. Right. And he sees it and he's aghast. At the moment when you're aghast is the moment when you call your wife and FaceTime and make sure that it's acceptable. And I know that you've already, you're in an SUV and everybody's driven from Arlington all the way to Staten Island. Yeah, those are the issues that happen when you buy something, several states away. Yeah. It might be a good idea to do FaceTime before you give the $500 or to have a video and make sure everything is perfect for you. But when you agree to purchase something in the used marketplace, your time to say you lied in the advertisement is when you're standing there and looking at it. You sent a representative to do that. And it's on her that your representative didn't have your same standards?
Your Honor, if you would let me speak, I would like to say...
Yeah, I've let you speak, but I need you to address exactly what I'm saying. Because I just want you to give me the answer to what I'm saying. Because the problem is you agreed to buy it for $2,000. Then you sent your agent over there. And your agent looks at it. And your agent says, looks good to me, and gives another $1,500. You tell me then how that as-is transaction that happens there after a chance to inspect, because it's not like she shipped the stuff to you. Your husband was there, and he could have said, oh, I'm not taking this. But that didn't happen for a variety of reasons. He was expected to come home with it. He thought you were going to be refurbishing it, and it was your birthday gift.
I have never refurbished furniture in the past, okay? They were collectible dolls.
Oh, why did he say you did?
Oh, he didn't say I refurbished.
Why did your husband say that?
He said I fixed things up, and specifically he was talking about collectible dolls, okay? American Girl vintage Pleasant Company dolls.
Seriously, why did you send him? Okay, that makes it worse. Why did you send him to go? Why didn't you go with him?
Because he's my husband and I trust him, because you assume that your husband is of the same mindset. And, I made a miscalculation. However, under the Uniform Commercial Code, you have a reasonable period of time to inspect the product. And immediately when I was able to physically inspect the product, I saw that it was severely damaged. I, that night, contacted the defendant. I tried to contact her repeatedly. She was on vacation, allegedly, with her husband. She did not get back to me until the next morning. Immediately upon, my husband was accused of damaging the set. If you look at the extent of the damage, if you look at the nature of the scratches and the dings, and if you look at the staining
on those chairs,
we don't have to, and I'm going to tell you why. No, stop. You're wrong on the law. You don't have a reasonable, this isn't Macy's. You don't have a reasonable time after you've conducted the transaction to, quote, inspect it. You have one moment in time, and that is when your husband was there and looked at it. It's an as-is sale. That means there's no returns. She is not Macy's, okay? So if at that moment he takes it, that's it. It's buyer beware. You are done. I don't know whether your husband damaged it or not. We don't need to know. There's no reason to try to conclude who damaged it. It just doesn't matter. I'm sure he was careful, and I'm also sure that when your husband came home and you saw it, you yelled at him. You know how I'm sure? Because I've been living that for 30 years. I know exactly why. You make an agreement to buy this thing for $2,000, and if when you go to pick it up, you have an objection, don't pay the other $1,500 and don't take the merchandise. And then you sue for the $500 back if she won't give it back to you, which I am sure she would have. Okay? But you don't get to then to take it, accept it, complete the legal transaction in the eyes of the law, and then somehow as is different for mere mortals than it is for you, Ms. Bull. It isn't. It's the same law. It's applicable to you. You don't have a reasonable time to change your mind and get your money back. My ruling in this case is in favor of the defendant. We're done.
Well, it didn't work out for the plaintiff in this case. Ms. Bull, you wanted to say something else to Judge Millian. What was it? What did you want to say to her?
I'm sorry, but you don't understand the Uniform Contract Code, if that's what you're saying. I'm also an attorney, and I understand how contract transactions work, and she was improper in her interpretation.
Well, you disagree with the judge. Well, you're certainly entitled to do that, and you are an attorney. Okay, well, that's it, but the judge rules here, and that's the way it goes. All right, let's see what the defendant has to say about that. Ms. Denise, are you sorry that all of this happened to this furniture issue?
I'm actually just surprised that this became an issue because there was the opportunity, obviously, to inspect it. No one forced anyone's hand. And I know that this was kind of personal for Ms. Bull because I think her and her fiance at the time had just been arguing. So I think it was, she mentioned she was an attorney and that this was very personal to her. But I'm glad that the judge was able to see, what was fair and that justice was served.
Okay, very good. Well, congratulations. Very interesting issues in this case. Let's join Harvey now, see what he has to say about it. He's also an attorney.
Okay, I'm going to give you a lesson here because this is really interesting. The plaintiff is suggesting that there is something called the Uniform Commercial Code, we call it the UCC, which says that items have to be in merchantable condition, meaning that they have to be good enough that they serve the purpose for which they were built. The problem is the UCC does not apply to private sales. It only applies with retailers or manufacturers. So in this case, it's a private sale, and in a private sale, you take your chances, unless you get a warranty.
Hey, Judge Marilyn, did you learn a skill or something during quarantine, and are you still doing that? That's from Claudia.
I'll tell you what, I have friends who did so much during quarantine. They used their time so wisely. I have one friend who really got into photography, took a lot of classes, and is actually doing, she's being hired by friends of hers to do professional photography. I have another friend who learned French. I feel like I squandered my entire COVID time.
I know. I feel like I've had so much downtime. I could have learned how to perfect cold fusion in the garage or create a suitcase nuke.
We organized a lot, didn't we? And we cooked more. We certainly cooked more, and we've gotten better at that.
We cleaned the garage.
Over and over. In fact, I cleaned so much, I cleaned out stuff that I later realized I needed, like they were part of my oven.
That we've kept for 10 years or 20 years.
Right. And then I got rid of it, and then on Thanksgiving, I'm like, oh my God, I'm missing oven parts. And I went back to the Goodwill to see if we had psychotic cleaning up during, so I went back to the Goodwill to see if I could buy my own piece back, and it was long gone.
But listen, I think the greatest thing, your greatest accomplishment during this whole COVID thing is helping me create a person cave in one part of the garage. This one bay of the garage, the car will be parked in the driveway, and that's going to be the person cave.
What are you going to do in there?
I'm going to
because you've had a year to make that, and you still haven't made that either.
I know. It's a work in progress, but we have a great rug. You've got a rug that's coming in that says, I'm pretty sure my last words are going to be, watch this and hold my beer, or something like that. A crazy thing like that. So if that rug ever shows up, we'll throw that down on the floor. And I got an old 35-year-old pinball game in there.
I know. I listen to it every night.
Right. So that's fun.
The kids came home during COVID, and they looked at us and said, it's like you people are in college again or something. There's no food in the fridge. There's a pinball machine in the garage.
Right.
So basically, that's it. You perfected pinball, and I became a compulsive organizer.